have again. I just talked with Vanessa from your Grateful Guide from the Haven group, and she mentioned that there's some people that are confused about our view about the hacks, right? And this is what it is, right? I always tell people, I try to do it with every video that I do. Every video. I try to tell people to use whatever you need to use in the beginning of your journey because you need them, right? Any avoidance behaviors I did, I avoided food for a year and a half. I stayed with my safe foods. I couldn't allow myself, right, to go ahead and eat that pizza because that was a catastrophe over and over again. So here, I'm gonna get this out here. So there's certain things you need to do, use them, because here's the thing. If you have that pelvic floor pain, for example, and you need to do the stretching and use whatever hack you need to do to cope, to manage, do it. This is all temporary. The goal is to eventually let these things go. Oh, my stomach again. The goal is to let these things go so that you don't become a slave to the hacks, because then you never end up facing what's behind that you're avoiding. And you're never allowing the emotion that's behind it, the survival state, the fear, whatever it is, the sensation, right? In the beginning, do the hacks, because if that pelvic floor pain, for example, it's so intense, right? The pain is so intense, and you don't do that coping mechanism or manage that pain with whatever thing that you use to manage it, you're going to drive yourself crazy, right? That makes sense. And if you're constantly crazy and obsessed with this pain, do you think you're going to be doing any of the work productively? No. So you're not moving anywhere. You're stuck. You're staying still, right? You're not doing any of the work. You're not bringing that survival state down. Actually, you're actually feeding it. You're not emptying those allostatic loads, right? You're not doing nothing. So, and some people, they think that the mind-body space has certain rules that you have to follow, because if you don't follow, you're doing it wrong and you're failing. And if you're failing, you're never going to recover, right? It's the people pleasers, the perfectionists, right? It's sprinkle some OCD on top of that, right? It's a bad combination. People think, oh shit, I got to do this right. I got to do this perfect. Trust me, I did this all the worst ways possible, right? My allowing was shitty, right? And half the time, with the allowing, you're going to white knuckle through sometimes, right? You have to. Sometimes you're still going to use some of the survival mechanisms of surviving through while allowing it. Oh, no, I can't allow fully. I got to survive a little bit. I got to allow. Okay, survive, right? It's a learning curve. This allowing stuff isn't just clear, black, and white, right? It's something that you got to experience and adjust. And also allowing certain things fully all day, that doesn't work either. Because then you're putting gasoline on the fire and it re-traumatizes that loop. And then off you go again in the hamster wheel. So that's why you have allow and engage, right? You have a break. Every time you allow, you have a break. You move on, right? You might be cutting the grass. You might be following the schedule, the lifeline right here. This is the massive one. This is the big one, right? You allow. And then, what are you doing at 2 o'clock? Oh, I'm supposed to go for my walk. Okay, go for your walk. Engage. Move on. But repeat it 200 to 5 times a day. So you get a little nibble, right, of that drip. You allow one drip at a time. Because if you allow all day, that one thing, what happens? Right? It turns into a snowball effect. And before you know it, you're ruminating. Right? You're ruminating all of a sudden. Then you're catastrophizing all of a sudden. Then you're freaking out. You're analyzing all of a sudden. And what does that do? That brings the survival state up again. And if the survival state goes up, that's the master. You get more alarms. You get more symptoms. You get crashes. You freak out. You're trying to do everything right, and you're just stuck in this chaotic war zone with confusion and fear and doubt that you're a special case. You're never going to recover. Everything that you're doing is making things worse. You're lost at sea. There's no lighthouse. Yeah, that makes sense. So in the beginning, use them. Here is your permission slip to please use them, right? If you got to talk to your doctor about certain things that help you along this to support your journey, go see your doctor. I always say, go see your doctor anyway to cover everybody's ass, right? So if you need to take certain supplements to help you those bowels move, if you got to do your enema thing, or you got to take magnesium to poop, or if you got to take that Tylenol because it softens the pain from a 10 to a 5, or if you got to do the stretches for the pelvic floor pain, right? Or if you got to do that activation of the vagus nerve, it's only temporary. Only do it near the beginning so you can ease into your journey and not drive yourself crazy trying to follow the rules, because those aren't the rules. It's bullshit. Right? You drive yourself crazy and you won't do the work, and then you're not moving anywhere. Does that make any sense? No. Use what you need to use in the beginning. It's only temporary. I know I'm repeating myself because I got to make this clear. And in the future, when that survival state starts to calm down a bit, when it comes down to here or here, right? When you start to empty those allostatic loads slowly, and it comes down maybe here, you're going to get less alarms. You're going to get less pain. You're going to be moving through this, right? It's continually through your journey, sticking to your schedule, your routine, right? This is the workflow. Finally, you got a nice routine, you got a flow. It still sucks, okay, but we're doing it. And right now, guess what? You're using only half of the hacks that you used to use. Right now, hey, I don't have to do my stretches anymore. My pelvic floor pain, it decided to leave. Now I'm dealing with OCD looping thoughts, right? I have certain mechanisms I might use for certain different things. And with the allowing, right? Allow what the brain sends you on the plate. And if there's something that's too heavy duty, right? If it's too much, only allow a little bit of it. Or you know what? If you don't want to, don't allow it yet. Put it on the shelf for now. And you got 1,000 other things that you can allow. Right? There's 1,000 other things, other symptoms that are easier. The low-hanging fruit. Pick that first. Don't be reaching for the fucking impossible one on top of the tree. And you're going to fall off the ladder. What for? Right? Pluck the ripe ones. Right? Oh, this is juicy. Right? Use that. Work with the low-hanging fruit first. Right? And it's a little bit of common sense too. If it's too much, if it's putting you in a crash, back off a bit. And these crashes help you to realize where your training zone is. So it's not for nothing. It's not like, oh my God, I had a crash. How horrible. I failed. No. You didn't fail. Now the contrast is making you realize where is a good spot for you to move forward, right? We need those crashes sometimes. It tells you where you're at. It tells you where you can work, right? It gives you information that you can put to good use. So, to be clear, biohacks, whatever they are, use them if you need them to manage, to cope, so that you don't drive yourself crazy, so that you can do the work. And it's only in the beginning, right? And if you need one or two instead of 20, one or two to help you along the way, eventually the goal is to release them and not need them. And that's it. And I talk about people that only stick to biohacks and they never move forward. They're only using biohacks, right? Every time that thought feeling comes in, they're always hacking it away. They're hacking it away. They're shielding it away. They're blocking it. They're defending it away. And they're doing that after the first year, the second year, the third year, right? And they're convinced that they're okay, but they're not. They're not going to the root. They're avoiding it. And there's a lot of gurus out there that are making money with this shit. And that is why I talk about it. And that's what pisses me off. Because they also brainwash people to think, if you don't do the hack, you will not recover. So please take my course. And it makes me money. Right? And when people are dealing with fear and OCD and doubt, they're going to run towards that. You're not thinking clearly, right? Neither was I. My fear was my magnet for everything. But eventually, when you get your wits with you, because the survival state comes down, you're going to start to realize, hey, man, you know what? All the answers are within me. Nothing in my outside environment is the answer. It's within me. I become my own guide. So that's the reason why I talk about it, because I see a trend of people constantly hacking and they are not moving forward because they're holding on to these hacks and they don't realize it. They're avoiding feeling that feeling. They're avoiding sitting in that fear and allowing it to process. There's an imbalance of it, and it's a moneymaker, and it's bullshit. So only use it as a tool to support your journey in the beginning when you need it, so you don't drive yourself crazy and not do the work. And I think that's it. Cool. So, and also, you're not going to do it right. It's okay. I'm probably the worst allower that ever existed, right? I'm the worst person. I did it all fucking wrong constantly, and I came to the other side. I fucking made it, right? So there's a learning curve. There's a time. It takes patience to build that leverage of indifference, right? You got to make all the mistakes. You got to let go of some things. You got to, right, get triggered, and eventually, you adjust, and you do it the way it works for you, right? But in the beginning, I was still, trying to allow, but I was surviving a little bit, and that's a good mechanism, right? Use some of the survival, use some of the white knuckling, along with the allowing, because it's a start. It's something, right? You're just starting. Because how long have we been resisting our thoughts and feelings and symptoms and fill in the blanks? How long? Most of our lives, right? So it doesn't make any sense to fully open the gates, because that's too much, right? Do a little bit of this, a little bit. It comes naturally. Like, okay, I'm going to allow a little bit, but I'm white knuckling. Okay, don't be so hard on yourself because you white knuckled. You're aware of it. Yeah, I white knuckled. Okay, but you also allowed some. That's a huge win. In time, there's going to be less of the white knuckling and more of the allowing. But then you got to engage. You need to engage. You can't just sit in the couch and fully open the gates, the floodgates, and allow. I allow. Right? Because when you do that, it's pouring gasoline on the fire. You need to have the engage. Allow and engage. Allow and engage. Do that 1,000 times a day. Allow and engage, right? Drip by drip by drip, not bottle by bottle by bottle by bottle. Right? That's going to put you backwards. We don't want to put gasoline on the fire. We want to set little mini fires. Okay, allow and engage. A little spark. And that's it. Okay. I hope that helps. I hope that clears some things up. I just wanted to be clear, right? There is a spot for some of these hacks in the beginning to support your journey so you don't drive yourself crazy, so you can do the work. Please use what you got to use, whatever, manage, cope, do it. I did. But eventually, I let them go. And I had to start facing more and more each day, little by little, right? You start to face to erase, right? All right. All right, guys, I'll get out there and get uncomfortable. Hope that helps.